Hey y'all, welcome to Tool Talk. I'm Amber.
And this is Heather.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 5. Yay! So if you have been listening, you know that we started out talking about 74% of Americans are obese or overweight, which led to my post on Facebook that led to us reading the book The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. And Heather and I coming up with ways to get out of our comfort zones. Coming up, a camping trip with the two of us on the Appalachian Trail and in the woods. And with Heather now, we're working on her nutrition.
We are.
And so we are back to continue that talk about the process and really focus in on the learning curve for this episode.
Yes, I have been all of the places that I have coached people through, which is very humbling. But I really want to share what I've gone through with this with you all so you can understand that you are not alone, because everybody will go through this at different points during their journey in weight loss, if you will. So first, I would like to say you have to change your mindset. We talk about this all the time. We preach this all the time. If you are not changing your mindset, your body is never going to change. Your life is never going to change. This doesn't just apply to nutrition. It applies to every aspect of your life. You have to be in the mindset where you are setting yourself up for success. And in this part of my journey, I can see a lot of places that could trip you up. And so I tend to look at the problem as much as anybody else would. You like, oh my gosh, I have to eat these 4 foods, basically for the next, 17 months, which is not true, but that is exactly what my mind is thinking. And I'm like, there's just no way I'm not going to be able to do it. I cannot eat hamburger, lean ground beef or turkey and chicken just, over and over and over again. Well, that's just, I can. I just have to look at different ways to do it. So you need to look for solutions instead of focusing on the problem. And I have a very good example as to how this played out for me. Recently, I have a Bible study that meets at Mission Barbecue, and they have great food, and I have changed. So I have evolved. Before this ever started, I would go there. We all get turkey. It's very funny. We're known as the turkey ladies, and they all know our names when we come in and place our order, and I would get French fries. They have very good French. They cook them right there. They don't cook them and put them under a heat lamp. You say, and they go, fry down. And you can hear the fries go down and they cook and they're glorious. But I got to a place where I don't need these. So I switched to, of all things, collard greens. I have never been a collard person, but I have come to embrace them. And they're very good there. And now I'm kind of a collard green snob when it comes to, and who thought that I would have ever reached this, or that statement would have come out of my mouth. But in where I am now, I need a starchy carb. They have macaroni and cheese and French fries and maybe some grandma's sweet potato that from the picture looked like it was probably brown sugar with maybe a little bit of sweet potato underneath. Now I have come to embrace the sweet potato before this journey, but again, it has to be mixed up. I cannot just open a sweet potato and eat it. That's just, okay. So I'm like looking at the menu before I left. Now, Amber had mentioned before that I've gotten to the point where I will look where we're going to eat and pick something out before I get there, because I'm a huge proponent of not having to make a decision in the heat of the moment. Because typically you're not going to go where you should go. You're going to go where everybody else goes, or where, you feel comfortable, right? So I decided, okay, I have some brown rice. I will set this on the counter. I will eat it when I get home. So I have my long grain rice packet that microwavable, super easy, 90 seconds, it's ready. And there also wasn't a particular fat source. And typically I also do barbecue sauce. I will mix some sweet with some spicy and make my own concoction. I'm like, that's not going to work for me now because it has too much sugar. And so I go and I place my order for my greens and my turkey, and I grab some mustard sauce. So they have a mustard based sauce. And that came from Georgia, by the way. And I also will get sweet tea because that's just that's heaven's nectar is sweet tea. But I put a third a cup of the sweet tea and the rest was unsweet, which could send me out of heaven. I don't know, but I feel like the good Lord will find some grace for me for drinking or lesser sweet tea, if you will. All right. So I felt really good in where I was, the decisions that I made. So I did not eat the cornbread, which I also enjoy. I left it on my tray, and I get home and I'm on my way home and I text my husband. I'm like, can you put that packet of rice on the counter in the microwave? And he's like, okay. So I come in the door and he's like, why am I heating up brown rice? And I'm like, because I need to eat my starchy carb. So I weighed out my rice. I ate my carb. I needed another fat source. So we have peanuts in the shells. So him and I are shelling my 14 peanuts that I get to eat. And that's how I solved the problem. So many people would be like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat my protein and eat my greens, and that's just going to be it. And it's just the way it is. But so you've got to learn you don't have to eat a meal all at the same time at the same place. You can have it to where either you eat it before you go or when you get back home. You just find ways to make it work. And it doesn't have to fit, like in your mind, what you think that it should look like. And it also, I've got one more story, and then I'll let Amber talk because I know she's got all kinds of stuff to say. I also say this all the time to everybody. It does not need to be the best thing you've eaten. And I hear people, well, I can't eat that because it just don't taste good. And my first words will be like, well, it's okay. It does not have to be the best meal you've ever had for it to be good for you. We have snacks at the end of the day. And this is helping our menopausal process to sleep well. We have our yogurt, we have berries, and I'm supposed to put peanut butter in that. It doesn't have to be peanut butter, but that's just the easier option. And I had tried it, and I had went to the gym where all things happen, and I share all things with Amber. And I'm like, I can't do this. That's just disgusting. It's not as good as I thought it would be. And last night I get back home and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I am going to do it. And so I just ate it again, and it was not bad, and I can get through it and I can make it work. And my goal for this little season of my life, I also do not like straight non-fat Greek yogurt. It tastes like sour cream to me. And to me, that is not just, it's something that I enjoy eating with berries. So my goal is to be able to eat that before this process is over by itself. Now I have started using just like maybe a teaspoon and a half of vanilla Greek yogurt. And I'm slowly weaning myself like a drug addict. I'm weaning myself off the sugar crack in yogurt so I can attain this goal and feel good about those decisions that I'm making.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a lot. I know it was a lot.
No,
but I feel better
so
getting it off my chest and sharing it with the world.
It's so good, though, because these are things that people are going to experience and deal with themselves. And so you're sharing that, how you've worked through that.
Well, I hope it inspires people to realize that you can do hard things. Yeah. We say this all the time too. I put it at a lot at the end of my post. You can do hard things. I can do hard things. And it is so much easier for me to do physical hard things like work out, run a long ways. But working on this mental mind change as far as food goes, I love food. And I have food noise all of the time in my mind, and being able to have some control over that is just very empowering.
Yeah, it is helpful. And I do want to mention a couple of things. So when you were talking about, making those decisions about what you're going to eat when you go out to eat, I know some people who are listening to this may may feel that that was a little extreme what you did, because it's not typical of what we see people do.
Yes.
I do want to make a comment that at the moment, Heather is eating in what is considered a deficit. So part of her goal is she wants to lean down. She wants to take off some body fat. That means that she's going to have to eat in a deficit. In that season, as she said, in that part of her life, you must be very intentional about your deficit. That does not mean that she's never going to be able to have the mac and cheese or the sweet tea. That comes later down the line when she has worked her deficit, gotten to where she wants to be, and then she moves into the lifestyle maintenance. Now, it also means that she's not going to be drinking sweet tea every day. She's not going to have mac and cheese every single day at lunch. This now is she's now a different person. And in order to maintain those results, you still have to make good choices. But right now she has to be very, very specific and intentional. It's not like that consistently forever. I just wanted to make that.
Yeah. And I appreciate, I'm glad that you did, because I think a lot of people, get stuck in their mind that I don't want to feel like I am being held back.
Yeah.
And having to work too hard at this. And I think the goal of this whole thing, any like weight loss journey, whether you're looking to lose your first set or you're pounds, or looking to be leaner or wanting to be heart healthier, you have to understand where you are and what you need to do to be better.
Yeah.
So we can all be where we are and be just trucking along in our same little lanes and just existing, but you need to have the desire to want to do better. So it would be like going to work and you just don't really care about your job and you're just doing what it takes just to get through the day, just to get your paycheck, which, for some people, whatever, that's enough. But you should want to be able to do your job better tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now. And that's how you should apply the same things to your food, to your love life, to your spiritual life. We should all be looking to be better. And now being better, and then we fall in, I feel like, to another mindset trap that being better should be fun.
Yeah, no.
And it is not. This is where the comfort crisis comes in. We're all comfortable just staying where we are and being, I don't know, lack of a better word, mediocre.
Yeah.
And for some people that's enough. But if you are wanting to be better, you're going to have to work to be better. And typically that is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But at some point that uncomfortable becomes comfortable. And then you look for something else. So you should always be trying to one-up yourself, if you will, in order to be the best person that you can be. And I really feel like this part of this journey is helping me with that and deciding, I can do hard things. I am not bound by vanilla sweetener in my yogurt. I can be better. I can do the straight, no-fat Greek yogurt, and I can be comfortable with it. It doesn't have to be my favorite, but I can still be comfortable, and some people may listen to that and go, that's really kind of dumb. But, that to me, that's just like the essence of it. You can apply it to wherever you are, but I'm pretty sure the struggles that I'm feeling through this are being felt, all over the world.
Oh, for sure.
And different people at different stages and stuff. So, we are in this together.
Yeah. And I wanted to also make a comment about you saying it doesn't have to be the best thing you've ever eaten. Mm-hmm. When you think about it, I've had some amazing meals in certain places. And, I've been taken to some really awesome places to eat in my past. So is every meal that I eat every single day gourmet? No, that's really, when you think about it, mm-hmm. It's not. It doesn't have to be. I'm not saying you have to eat stuff that tastes gross and that you don't like. I actually like most of the food that I eat. Funny, again, about the changing of the taste buds and the things that you'll eat. Mm-hmm. But prior to competing, when I did figure competitions, prior to that, I hated sweet potatoes and oatmeal. I would never eat those two things. I finally got to the point, because back then, and remember y'all, I said I would never do a competition diet again. I wouldn't coach anybody on that. But back then, those were two of the very few foods that I was allowed to eat when I was competing. And I had to learn to like them.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up figuring out how to make that happen, because otherwise that was two foods down that I couldn't eat.
Yes.
You know, and I do want to make a comment too about, Heather brought up our postmenopausal, perimenopausal nighttime snack. So this is something that I learned a long time, maybe a couple years ago, that it's really good prior to, you have to decide what time is good for you. I do it about an hour before I go to bed. You have a little bit of a carb, a little bit of a protein, some fiber, and a little bit of fat. So what has been very easy for me has been Greek yogurt, which has carbs and protein, a little bit of peanut butter, which has fat, some carbs, some protein. I do berries because berries are highest in fiber, and then that's what I eat before bed. So Heather picked that up, but her version did not have the peanut butter or the flavor. I do use a vanilla flavoring in mine. I have this little bottle of stuff I put in there, and cinnamon. So that's how I kind of spice my gross plain yogurt up. But you used to do that, berries, the vanilla yogurt, and then granola.
Yes. So I mean, it is just a process. So like, Amber was saying with her journey started like a year ago. I've kind of been like on this track, and again, I was getting comfortable where I was, but knowing that where I was is not exactly where I wanted to stay. And I don't really have a particular, I don't think we've addressed this, what my goals are. I don't know that I have a particular weight in mind, or inches, or size, or look. I just know that I can do better, and I want to try to get there, just to see what that feels like, what that looks like, and who knows, when the time comes, I'm sure I will know it, and then we just go from there. So this is just kind of a learning process altogether, in hopes, again, to inspire somebody who was stuck to realize that you can go out on this journey and get some results and get uncomfortable.
Yeah. And we talked about that. I was like, don't focus so much on the weight, because sometimes you really don't know what your weight's going to be.
Right.
And we strength train fairly heavy, so you've got more muscle. And then the other thing too is I encouraged Heather to do pictures and measurements, because I really think being able to look at those pictures side by side, then you can kind of see the small changes that are happening, and then decide like, oh my gosh, yes. Because it's hard to realize, it really is. If you don't have those pictures to compare, you really forget what it's like. I have a picture as my screensaver with my husband. We did some photos with our favorite photographer, Jennifer Mosley, and she did our wedding pictures, and we had her come in and do some at our friend's farm, because their farm is so beautiful. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, my face is so round. Like, but I didn't realize that until I put it up, and I was like, oh yeah, I look totally different now. But I've forgotten that, because I look at my face every day.
Right, exactly.
And then I did also want to mention about the snack. It doesn't have to be Greek yogurt, berries, and peanut butter. That's just what we chose.
It's easy.
Yeah, because it's easy, and that's what I like. You don't like it so much, but that's what I like.
I'm getting there. Yes.
You will get there. So the learning curve, you got to have that education. You've got to change your mindset. And like Heather said, you've got to be solutions focused and not be in that negative space, because your brain's going to go to the negative.
Absolutely.
So you've got to be able to fight that and be able to say, nope, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for a reason, and I'm going to be successful, doggone it. Brain, you are not going to take me off the track.
I think my brain's ready to write me off. I'm just tired of all this. No, it's good. It's empowering.
Yes. And we need to talk about this too. This is important. So what did you say to me the other day? And maybe this needs to be the next episode about, you asked if you were actually in the deficit or not. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you said you thought it was a lot of food.
Oh, yeah. I'm eating too much food, I feel like, which is very interesting because that's also we hear, I eat right. And I tell people all the time, you probably aren't eating enough. Well, I wasn't eating enough either.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Found out.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that on the next episode. We'll come back and talk about it's too much food.
Too much food.
So you have a great day and we'll see you soon.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.